Campaigners and MPs will deliver a petition for a 15% NHS pay rise to Downing Street today. The petition's been signed by more than 800,000 people, and it comes as the government is expected to publish its long-awaited NHS pay report. Well, joining me now is Pat Cullen, the Acting General Secretary of the Royal College of Nursing. Thanks for joining us, Pat. The report that we are hearing is that potentially the government may up its offer from 1% to 3%. You are fighting for a 15% pay rise. It's still a massive gap, isn't it?
Well, the Royal College of Nursing was asking on behalf of its members for 12.5%, but it's still, as you say, an enormous gap. And I suppose what we're saying to government today is they leave nurses hanging on, once again, waiting on an announcement for a few pounds in their pay packet. That's not right in itself, but they still have time to do the right thing for nursing. And when you do the right thing for nursing, you do the right thing for patients and the health service. It's really important that today, or whenever they do make their announcement, that it isn't an announcement that knows the cost of everything and the value of nothing, because the value of nursing doesn't need to be emphasised anymore. I think they've demonstrated that over and over again. So just do the right thing and pay nurses to stop the drain of nurses from the workforce that we've got.
I mean, you say a few pounds in a nurse's pay packet, but there are, almost 700,000 nurses in the UK, so that is a lot of pounds in a lot of people's pay packet. That money has to be found by the government. It just says it just doesn't have that kind of money.
Well, if they don't have the kind of money, they ain't going to have a health service. That's as simple as that. We need nurses to run a health service. We need nurses to look after our patients. That goes without saying. You can't run a health service without nurses. So every pound that is spent on providing care for our patients by our nurses is money very, very well spent. That money won't go to waste. But what will happen is that we will continue to see the drain of nurses that are walking away from our health service simply because they can't continue in the way that they are working, with so many understaffed posts, understaffed units, trying every day to care for their patients in the best possible way that they can, and with the staff that just aren't there at this moment in time.
I mean, I'm sure that nobody would dispute the excellent work that nurses do, but the government will argue that they've actually sent it out to an independent pay review body, and that if that pay review body has come back with a suggested 3% rise, what incentive would there be for the government to give you more than that?
You see, the government can do the right thing by nurses and by all healthcare staff. It is an independent pay review body that makes recommendations to government. I don't think any nurse can overstate the value that they have played in this pandemic and in the health service, and they will continue to do. What we're concerned about is that if we get a pay rise or pay award that's announced today or tomorrow that says nurses are worth 3%, what nurses will say back is that is enough. This isn't demonstrating our value. It's certainly not saying from a government that's responsible for providing our healthcare services that they actually care about nurses, about their mental health, about their health and well-being, and everything that they've done during this pandemic. And nurses are actually saying, we've had enough now, and we are going to move elsewhere. They're moving to other countries, but they're actually leaving our profession, which is a deep worry for us as the Royal College of Nursing.
How hard are you finding it to retain staff and to fill the new jobs that are then available?
We're almost at breaking point. That's what our members are telling us. The stress that nurses have been under during this pandemic is palpable. We actually speak to frontline clinical nurses every single day, and we hear it. We hear it in their voice. We hear it when we meet with them. The stress that they're under, the concern and the worry they have about moving into a next wave. We are seeing our hospitals becoming under pressure again, and they're also trying to remobilise and start to care for those people that have sat on waiting lists for many months and indeed years. So you cannot do that with a depleted workforce. You can't do it without nurses. You can't run a health service without nurses. There's nothing mind-boggling about this. You need nurses. And if we want to hold on to those brilliant nurses that we've got, and they are brilliant, they've demonstrated that throughout this pandemic, then we need to pay them, but we need to incentivise new people to come into our healthcare services. We need to hold on to the people we've got, and we won't hold on to them with a 3% pay rise.
OK, Pat Cullen from the Royal College of Nursing, thank you very much.
Thank you.